Have you guys ever wanted to build a referral relationship with an accountant or a financial planner, but struggled to build that relationship? Well, here in this video, Ross interviews one of Australia's top brokers, and he shares some really basic tips on how he built his relationships with accountants and financial planners that became so successful that he ended up setting up a mortgage broking business for the financial planner. You won't want to miss this video.
I want to dig more into this area because I know you, and working with you, I know this is an area you do particularly well, right? So with referral partners, and let's focus on accountants, what do you think is important about, really adding value and building a relationship with an accountant as a referral partner?
Yeah, so with accountants, I think often there's kind of like a director or maybe a couple of directors, and then they'll have a team underneath them. I think one of the keys is the directors will only refer so much, and one of the keys is to try and get out and meet the team, and then try and get the team referring to the director. So then you'll start seeing more flow. Obviously, if you're getting leads from just the directors, that's fine. But in terms of getting a bit of leverage, then that's one good thing. In terms of what works well with the accountants, or even going back one step, one niche which I don't think a lot of brokers are doing is that each client that you're working with will generally have an accountant. So I've got leads from accountants, even just getting the name of the accountant and just emailing the accountant who didn't even refer the deal and just saying, hey, Joe Bloggs just settled a loan. I know you're his accountant, just letting you know he said an investment property. You might want to get a depreciation schedule for your client. And the accountant will often write back saying, hey, thanks so much. I wasn't expecting that. And then, you'll just put them on your marketing list. So how I'll reach out into your month. And I've developed relationships just that simple way of not getting a warm introduction, just sort of creating that out of nowhere, which I don't think a lot of brokers are doing. So a lot of brokers saying, oh, where's my next lead going to come from? Every client that you're working with has an accountant, may have a financial planner, may have worked with a real estate agent or a buyer's advocate. It's just tapping into that sort of network within the solicitor, conveyancer, tapping into that. And I find the accountants can be quite receptive to that. Maybe they have a broker already or don't have a broker, or had a broker that hasn't worked out, and you could be there at the right time, just tapping into that. And I found that's actually worked well for me. And you're just tapping into that broker, that accountant post-settlement, and just giving the heads up that the deal settled. With accountants, I find that they don't always want something in terms of like a payment or anything, but they just want someone that can add value, someone that can talk the talk, someone that understands the structures, someone that understands the structures and knows the investment property side, or might be the development side, or whatever it might be, to someone that can add value, that they don't have to sit there and explain all the financials to, someone that can extrapolate the financials and understand the flow of money, especially for a more complex structure. And that's probably one advantage that I've had while working in the prior accounting firm, where I really got, going back even further, when I was working in the banks, I got sent up to Sydney to Cogra, and they had to do a course on the financials and learning how that worked. And then working in the accounting firm, all the clients were self-employed clients. So I had to learn that on the fly pretty quickly when I was working in the accounting firm, because every client that got referred to me from the internal accountants, they all were very quite complex and multiple entities and flow of funds and that kind of stuff. So all those kind of things the accountants, they love. They just want someone that can understand the structure. Because I know a lot of brokers, some brokers don't want to do self-employed because they just find it all too complex. So if you're a broker that can understand that, you've kind of got a little bit of a leg up on some other brokers. So that's probably my little niche, understanding financial structures quite well.
Yeah, definitely. So, you're a natural fit for an accountant because of your accounting and your credit background, and they love that because it's, this is the value outside of the transaction. You're not wasting their time, that you're backing them up, giving them credibility in terms of what they're doing. And obviously, if they're professional, their referral is an extension of them. So they want a sort of like-minded type person, which obviously you fit the bill for, which is great. And then you mentioned financial planners, and financial planners are an interesting one because sometimes their ideal clients don't match yours. So tell me how you've had success with financial planners.
So with financial planners, and also with accountants as well, another thing I found has worked really well with, actually had a really good financial planning referral, which I don't have anymore, because the referral relationship was going so well, and he saw how much he was feeding me that he actually wanted me to set up a broking business within his business. So I actually helped him, the financial planner, set up a broking business, a mortgage broking business, which I've got a good relationship with him. I was happy to help him out because he gave me so many leads over the years. But that actually stemmed, that lead, which is another way of getting into an accounting or a financial planning firm, is just showing your commitment. In that, what I did with him was I actually became a client. So he said we sort of met, and there was sort of some leads going back and forth, but there wasn't a lot. And I thought, you know what, I can see big potential here. I actually said to him, hey, can I become a client, financial planning client? And as soon as I became a financial planning client, it kind of cemented our relationship, and all of a sudden the floodgates opened and the leads started flowing. So I'd say that to any brokers that do see a potential with a referral partner or a potential referral partner. If you become a client, it can really cement that relationship where the floodgates can potentially open, and that really worked well with that particular one.
What was a typical lead? What was a typical lead that you got from a financial planner?
Typical lead, I mean, it's just a bit of everything: refinances, purchases, generally good loan sizes. This financial planner in particular was very aggressive with the marketing. So they used to actually, kind of like a new financial planner up and coming, but they used to do a lot of marketing on like Google ads and Facebook ads, these kind of things, and they'd get 100 leads a month, if you can believe that. So of those, they might get 20% that proceeded, but a lot of the financial planning leads that didn't proceed, they were potential finance clients. So yeah, saw a heap of leads. Probably my biggest regret is losing them, but still good friends, still a financial planning client. I'm happy to see them being successful, but yeah, lots of different kinds of leads, bit of everything. Usually not too complex. Normally a lot of pay-as-you-go stuff, which balanced out the complexity of the accountants, which was good. Decent loan sizes, good clients that wanted to build their wealth, so they were very receptive to advice.
Yeah, I love it. And I think, the thing when you are looking at financial planners, some financial planners only deal with, say, 50 clients, and their ideal clientele maybe sort of 65 and above, right? And they want big, super balances and money to invest, which sometimes doesn't stack up well with a mortgage broking client, right? So you've really, it sounds like your one was an up and coming, doing lots of marketing and generating a lot of leads. So that was like an ideal mix for good referrals to a mortgage broker, right? So I think when the brokers are looking at this, have a look at how much business they've actually got coming in, and do they have the potential to sort of be that partner that's going to refer quite a bit of business.
I think also with accountants is, and again, whether this is an existing client that the accountant's referred, but even more so maybe someone that isn't. Just say, for example, as I said before, you might have a lead and that client's got an accountant. You might see that client hasn't been structured correctly in terms of, I know we can't give accounting advice or legal advice, financial advice, but you might see that, for example, give an example, maybe the husband's running the business, but then the husband and the wife are both on the titles of all the property. So you think maybe it might make sense to take the husband off the home title for asset protection, and just having that sort of thought process and letting the accountant know, that can add a lot of value with the accountant, where they say, hey, this is good, this guy's actually picked this up. You might win business that way. Also, another one is at tax planning time, where the accountant's doing a bit of work with the client. If you've got a client, a lot of my clients will say, hey, when it comes tax planning time, sort of you can send a blanket email out, sort of like March coming to tax planning, and say, hey, you should be speaking to your accountant if you've got any plans of doing any lending over the next year. Have a chat to your accountant and then get me in on those meetings so that we can review financials to see if you're going to have enough income to do what your plans are. And I find that's another way of getting in with potential accountants to get business. It's all just really with that stuff, just sort of being on the front foot. And as I say, just showing that you can add value. Like what can you add value? How can you add value that maybe someone else can't, or can you show an accountant something that other brokers aren't showing them, and being on the front foot and just showing those little things like depreciation schedules and tax planning, these kind of things that can go a long way in trying to win a new referral partner.
Oh, definitely. Because, all above board things that accountants can do that will make a difference from what borrowing capacity point, right? So I love what you're saying in terms of, before you finalize the accounts, what are the plans? Because, I know, chatting with my accountant, we used to say you can't have a wealth creation strategy and a tax minimization strategy together, right? It doesn't work, right? So you've got to balance the two, and you look at, you know, how much money they could potentially save in tax to what they could create in wealth. For example, if you get them an extra $1 million worth of property that goes up, 7%, that's 70 grand in growth in a year. They're not going to save 70 grand in a year, right? From a tax perspective, but the benefit of having these types of conversations where you get it, right? You get the leverage, you get how it works, and you understand the tax planning, as you say, can go a long way to providing value to an accountancy partner.
Yeah, that's a very powerful one, because that's the whole thing with accountants. They're trying to get the taxes low to add value to the client, save them $1, and we're trying to get the income up. But I have used that a lot of times with clients, where think big picture. Let's say you save 10 grand on your tax, but if we can get the income up a little bit more and you pay 10 grand tax, pay that 10 grand tax trying to save, you might be able to get into a property. And if that, as I said, if $500,000 property goes up by 50 grand, then you're going to be ahead. So it's also having that conversation with clients and changing that mindset that they have.
Yeah, and exactly. And that 50 grand is not just that year, it's each and every year,
Exactly.
So over 10 years, it's $500,000 for 1 year where they may be paid an extra 10 grand tax, right? So it's, exactly what you're saying.
All right, so there's some wonderful tips there that you guys can implement into your business when targeting accountants and financial planners. Now, what I would suggest is, if you've got a particular target, a particular business that you really want to do business with, maybe not go and approach them straight away. Also, probably don't do the scattergun approach. A lot of brokers do that. What I would probably recommend, especially if you're new to building relationships, new to networking, new to this, is just start meeting businesses that you don't care if you stuff up the appointment. They're probably not going to refer to you anyway. Or maybe start with real estate agents. Real estate agents are much easier to start with. Real estate agents don't know a lot. They don't know a lot about finance. They don't know a lot about, the process and policies and all that sort of stuff. So if you're feeling a little bit not confident in yourself to go approach an accountant or a financial planner, then start with real estate agents. Maybe go meet with 10 different real estate agents. Maybe go meet with, 10 accountants or financial planners that you aren't that keen to do business with anyway. But the key businesses that you really want to build a relationship with, wait until you've got a little bit of experience actually going and having these conversations and meeting people and working out what accountants are looking for, what financial planners are looking for. So that's what I would probably recommend doing. However, on our next video, I'm going to share, we're going to talk about real estate agents, and should you be targeting the actual agents, or should you be targeting the directors, and how to build referral relationships with real estate agents, which can be extremely profitable.